Hey, what's up guys? It's Hayden.
Hey, and I'm Emma. Welcome to our channel. We are so very excited to be talking about this movie today. Spider-Man No Way Home is finally out, and this is one big, massive Marvel movie. Very highly anticipated, and boy, has the bar been set for this one. We had people telling us before we'd even gone and seen it that it was their favorite Marvel movie to date. It was their favorite Spider-Man to date, and well, we had high hopes then, of course. So if you want to hear our thoughts on this new movie, then stick around. We will be talking some spoilers towards the end of the video, but for the first half, we will be keeping it spoiler free, and we will, of course, as usual, give you a heads up when we're going to go into spoilers.
So Spider-Man No Way Home follows on from the events of Far From Home. So Peter Parker's identity has been revealed to the world, and he's been made out to be a villain and a vigilante. So trying to come to terms with that, he seeks the help of Doctor Strange, who casts a spell that goes wrong, opening up some portals to these other dimensions, and some familiar faces start creeping through these portals, making for some very, very fun and interesting cameos. So one that's already been heavily revealed in the trailers is Doc Ock. So Doc Ock is back.
Yeah.
A famous Spider-Man villain from, what was it? It was Spider-Man 2.
Way back when Tobey Maguire was
Tobey
Spider-Man.
Maguire, yeah. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. As well as a bunch of other villains from throughout the Spider-Man series. So, look, it's going to be very hard to go into this without spoiling anything. So, let's just, I guess, generalize our thoughts. So, for me, I thought this was a very good Marvel movie. Could be up there with some of the best. I don't know if it's my favorite just yet, but I think it's a very, very good Marvel movie. I had a lot of fun with it.
I love this movie. And I was expecting to love it after all the hype that was around it and after all the good feedback I was hearing. So I was very, very pleased with it, thankfully. So much fun. So much nostalgia packed into this one movie.
A lot of Easter eggs.
So many Easter eggs.
Yeah, it was definitely like a fan service kind of movie, but in a good way. It wasn't forced fan service.
Fan service done well. It was funny, hilarious, and also really, really sad.
It's just all those things that you expect from a Marvel movie. You know, you expect to laugh a little bit. It's got like that Marvel humor in there. But it also knows how to pull on the heartstrings a little bit,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. It definitely knows how to... Marvel knows how to pull the tears from you when they want to.
Yeah.
And they also know how to do comedy really well as well. So, yeah, it had everything that I wanted for this movie. And do you know what? I've always said that Tobey Maguire was my favourite Spider-Man. I've always liked Tom Holland, but Tobey Maguire was always still my favourite. And I think it was just purely because he was my first
Who you grew up with, yeah.
Who I grew up with. In saying that, Tom Holland really stepped up in this movie. This is probably the best I've seen him in all of his Spider-Man movies and potentially in all of the Avenger movies. I really liked his performance. The range of emotion that he showed us particularly, man, he hit my heart.
He definitely stepped up in this one, didn't he? He took
really
it to
did.
another level. I think he could be my favourite Spider-Man. And I grew up with Tobey Maguire, but I think Tom Holland could be my favourite Spider-Man.
I feel like Tom has, he's kind of level with Tobey now for me. Look, and don't get me wrong, I liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man as well, but I just didn't really like his movies, but I didn't have an issue with him as Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I think that's the general consensus.
Yeah, he was completely fine Spider-Man, but it's always kind of gone Tobey, Tom, Andrew for me. But Tom, man, his performance in this movie in particular was just outstanding.
But the whole cast was great. Zendaya, I thought, was fantastic, and her chemistry with Tom Holland, I thought, really shone through in this movie.
I mean, they've always been great from the beginning. In all the movies, they've had this really good on-screen chemistry, but I think it just amped up again in this movie.
I think they might be dating in real life.
Would not surprise me.
Yeah, that could have something to do with that chemistry heating up a little bit.
Yes, that can always help. I mean, that off-screen chemistry as well.
Yes. We also had Benedict Cumberbatch in there as well as Doctor Strange, who kind of bookends the film a little bit. You know, he's in there a little bit at the beginning, a little bit at the end, but it's not really his story. You know, he is great as Doctor Strange, but this is Spider-Man's film. You know, this is Peter Parker's film. And I do like his arc in this. It is a bit of almost like a coming of age kind of like a bit of a growth story for Peter Parker. You know, he does go through a lot in this movie, and I like his arc throughout. All the story beats work for me. The way it wraps up, I think, works for me as well. His whole arc was fantastic, and I think he now has finally become Spider-Man, not Spider-Boy.
Yes.
He's now Spider-Man. He's earned that title.
And boy, does he look like a fan man in this. I'm sorry. I was just waiting to do it.
Just couldn't help yourself. Could you?
I'm sorry, we had a shirtless scene. I was like, Peter got ripped in this one.
Yes, he did get ripped.
No, honestly, Tom just really upped his game this movie. He was absolutely fantastic. I really hope that we're going to see more from him, because the ending of this movie, not spoiling anything yet, it kind of wrapped his storyline in a way. Like, you could leave his story there.
No, I think there's more to be told.
Like, obviously, there's
I think he's going to be an essential part of, like, this next phase of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
So.
But in terms of a solo Spider-Man, do you think we're going to see another one?
Oh, not for a while. I think we'll see him in other movies.
Oh, yeah, I feel like we're going to see him in other Marvel movies, but whether he's going to get another standalone, because he's had his trilogy now.
Yeah.
So.
No, I don't think we'll have another Spider-Man film for a while. I think he will tie into some of the other stories and some of the other movies. The group ensembles, I think we'll see him in a lot of those. I don't think we'll see Spider-Man in a solo movie for a while.
Anyways, I think we need to jump into some spoilers, because it is just too hard to talk about this movie without spoilers, because just there's so much in it, so much happened, so many characters are involved. So look, if you haven't seen this movie yet, definitely go and see it. It is by far, I think, the best Spider-Man in this franchise.
I think it's definitely the best Spider-Man movie in this franchise, yes.
What about out of all Spider-Mans?
I'd probably go as far to say the best Spider-Man movie ever. Yeah, I could probably comfortably say that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's my favourite MCU movie. I might need to sleep on it, maybe see it again. But it's definitely in the upper tier.
I mean, it's definitely a movie I want to see again, and rewatch again and again.
It's got that rewatchability about it.
It absolutely does. It is so much fun, so much nostalgia, and I just a movie you want to revisit. I think I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah.
So getting into the spoilers now. Please stop watching if you haven't seen this movie yet. Please don't ruin it for yourself, because honestly, this is a movie that
you need to go in blind.
You do need to go in blind to fully feel the impact of it. Now, I think, for starters, we can talk about Dr. Ock.
Yeah.
Comes back, because he is in the trailer, so
that's an easy one.
That's
start
an
off
one.
easy.
Yeah. That
yeah.
No surprises there.
Yeah, and I like him. I like him as a villain, but I also like him as a good guy. He kind of gets turned to the light throughout this movie, which I was not expecting.
And now that was a big theme through this movie, was, turning the bad guys good again. Which wasn't something I was expecting. I didn't really know what to expect with the storyline going into it, with all these villains coming back. I didn't really know where they were going with this. I honestly thought that we would be seeing, these cameos very briefly, and that was it. That in the trailer when we see Dr. Ock, I thought, we were just going to see this fight on a bridge in traffic, whatever, and then that was it. Spider-Man's going to defeat him. We'll move on to the next villain. But it wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, they kind of tied into the whole story. And not just that, they tied into Peter Parker's story.
Yeah.
His arc, As I said in our non-spoiler section, this is a growth story for him. And part of that is, him not wanting to kill these bad guys. It's actually wanting to save them. And that's a big part of his character that shines through in this movie.
Yeah. And I mean, you got to think too, like, these bad guys, they've always come from, a good background. They've always been a good guy, and just, science has made them gone bad. So,
They're always scientists, aren't they?
They always are. It was quite an interesting spin on these superhero movies. You don't really see these villains being turned back to good again, and I really liked that. It was unexpected and refreshing. So.
Yeah, it kind of goes along those themes of, everyone deserves a second chance.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's such a lovely character, so it was really cool to see him, back in his nice ways again.
Yeah. But we also had Jamie Foxx's Electro.
Mm-hmm.
We had Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin.
Yes, that was exciting.
fun.
That was so cool.
I forget the actor, but we also had Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a bunch of these cameos from throughout the Spider-Man universe, not just the home trilogy, but, the original trilogy and Andrew Garfield's 2 movies.
Yeah.
So for fans of Spider-Man and the Spider-Man movies, this is just going to be a massive nostalgia fest for you guys.
Yeah.
Which is, a lot of fun. I think this is a really fun movie. There's a lot of fun cameos and stuff like that. But I think the funnest cameo would have to be Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming back as Spider-Man.
Now, I heard the rumours, but I was like, no, I'm not going to get my hopes up. I can deal with the villains. Villains are cool, but don't get my hopes up on Spider-Man's working together. And then it happened. I was like...
There were rumours. There was rumours circulating the internet, but I was like, surely they can't. Like, come on. But they did it.
When they started to open up that portal, and you're looking down that alleyway, and it's like, oh, it's not Peter Parker. It's Tom Holland. Or is it? There's something off about this Spider-Man. What's going on here?
Yeah, I think as soon as you hear his voice, you're like, wait a minute, that's not Tom Holland's voice, is it?
But even just like his movements and the costume, it's just like, oh, that's not Tom's Spider-Man. Are they actually doing it? And then he pulls his mask off. And I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be Tobey. Oh, it's Andrew. That's cool too. I was kind of hoping it would be Tobey, but Andrew Garfield, that's so cool. We are having a Spider-Man mashup.
Spider-Man crossover.
Spider-Man crossover. That was so cool. And it was such a funny scene that played out.
Yeah.
But it got better. Another Spider-Man turns up. And it is Tobey. And I'm like, oh my God, it is my favourite Spider-Man. And oh my God, he looks so old.
He has gotten old, hasn't he, Tobey?
Yes, I was like, because we haven't seen him in some movies for a while.
He's been a bit quiet, hasn't he?
What's he been doing? So, yeah, it was kind of a bit jarring seeing, he's not old, but like a mature Spider-Man. I'm like, damn, Tobey, you got some lines happening, but, but he still looks good.
But the chemistry between those three was so cool.
So cool.
Yeah, just them bouncing off each other, seeing them working together was really fun.
It was just awesome.
It was almost like I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah.
At times.
Because it's like, that's Sony's movies, and this is the MCU.
Yeah,
and
it was just like so much fan service at once.
it's like they're completely 2 different productions, well, 3 different productions, but they're here. And I'm like, is this actually happening? They've actually brought these 3 guys together, and it just worked.
Yeah.
It was just so cool. And oh my God, the 3 of them were just amazing. They were all the Amazing Spider-Men.
Yeah.
They were just so funny. It was absolutely hilarious to watch the little skits that unfolded.
I like how they were trying to figure out why Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man could shoot webs out of himself.
Yes. Okay, thank you to whoever thought to address that, because that was one thing that I just haven't liked about the 2 new Spider-Man, like Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I was like, no, I don't like that they have, electronic webs. I love Tobey because, he really was Spider-Man. He was a Spider-Man, okay?
He's a Spider-Man.
You're getting way too worked up over this.
I've never understood why they couldn't shoot out of their skin.
But it's cool that they had the presence of mind to address those little things, and that was the cool thing. There was a lot of just little Easter eggs like that that they picked up on, and it was just some really nice fan service for all the fans of the Spider-Man movies. Whether you're a Tobey Maguire guy, an Andrew Garfield guy, or you like the new version of Spider-Man and Tom Holland, I think there's something here for everyone.
Absolutely. There was just so many funny and memorable scenes. Willem Dafoe was also great. he had that really funny one-liner where it was a bit of a throwback to...
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
When that happened, I was like, did he really just do that? Like, I love these writers.
And no one, I feel like no one got it in the cinema. Like, it was just like me and some other random guy in the cinema just going, just like chuckling.
I know.
I was expecting like the whole audience to just erupt, but no one got it.
I feel like we had quite a young audience around us. There was quite a few kids in there, so...
But there was a lot of things like that, a lot of little Easter eggs,
Yeah.
you know, little one-liners, you know, just kind of nods to the audience, like, hey, you get it? You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, just them having just everyday conversations together, like villains they fought, you know, how they use their webs and does it come out of different areas?
I like that. Something for the adult audience.
Yeah. No, some of the kids down the front got it too. They had a bit of a
some of the
chuckle.
kids got it?
Yeah, I think their minds went somewhere else though. Just so funny. But oh my goodness, okay, I can't believe that I only just bring this up now. I think this may have been my favourite moment, was freaking Daredevil is in it.
Matthew Murdock. Yeah. So he's officially now in the MCU now.
I did not see that coming. He probably didn't either. That was really bad.
That was way too witty for you. Have you been sitting on that joke for a while?
Literally just came to me. Thank you, I'm here all week. Okay. Sorry.
Oh dear. I don't know if you topped that joke. I think that might be your best joke that you've ever had.
We're wrapping the video there, guys. I'm out.
That's it. We can't get better than that. We've set our own bar.
Okay, no. In all seriousness, though, like, that was just awesome. I was not expecting to see Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox's Daredevil pop up. And it was so soon in the film. Like, it was pretty early on. And I was like, oh my God. And then that got me really excited for who else we were going to. I was like, oh my God, are we going to see the Punisher?
Yeah, that just kind of set the cameo train rolling.
Yeah. I was like, are we having Netflix series crossovers now? Like, holy...
That might be where they end up going in the MCU. They might start bringing in all these other characters because their series are no longer going anywhere. So they got to do something with them. And I think they're too well loved to just throw on the cutting room floor. You know, I think everyone loved Daredevil. Everyone loved like the Punisher series. So yeah, I think they're going to start bringing those in, and I'm excited for it. Especially if they bring in the Punisher. If they bring in the Punisher,
look out!
Oh boy,
look out! You know, he's just, you know, your favorite Marvel character. If you're ever wondering what that hat is, it's
never leaves my head.
In every video, it's his Punisher hat that he's always wearing. Yeah. That would be amazing. So yeah, that was possibly my favorite moment, was just seeing Daredevil appear. But it was so short. I was hoping he was going to come back, but you know, it was just in the beginning.
No, but I think it just set the the expectations a little bit. It's like, okay, you might see Daredevil in the MCU now. So I'm keen for that. I'm keen to see what they do with those Netflix superheroes.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, hopefully they bring them all into the MCU. I'd be keen for that.
Mm-hmm. But look, what more can we say about this? There was just so much nostalgia, so many Easter eggs. We just... all the Easter eggs were good.
It's Christmas.
I know, but it was Easter for this movie.
But now we want to know what you guys thought. So let's nerd out in the comments below, guys. Let us know your thoughts. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you think of the cameos? Let's get it going in the comments, guys. But as always, do that YouTube stuff as well. Slam that like button if you like what we do. Hit the bell for the notifications to be notified of what we got coming up next. Subscribe to our channel to become part of the Headspace Films community. And most importantly of all, thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
See ya.